morning, team. I got some crap sleep last night, so we're on for a ride today. But let's go ahead and see if my signal's coming through. We're gonna do some artwork this morning. Let's see. Checking the strength of volume here. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Checking the strength. That sounds fantastic. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and bring that down there. We're gonna grab the link here and do some really fast social media posts. We pretty much wrapped up the Strixhaven Mage Tower mechanics for D&D 5e, playing Mage Tower as a D&D combat sport. That was fun last night. We're going to do some more of that at lunch today, building athletes, 7th level athletes, spellcasters, and marshals to compete in Mage Tower, so that I, as a DM, can have a roster of NPCs for the team for the players to compete against if we decide to play Mage Tower instead of running a mega dungeon on Saturday mornings. So let's see, I've got all my social media posts done. So let me just say, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish them online, and we're creating an adventure for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I'm doing all the artwork for it. You can see here on the screen the book cover, Crystals of Mabar. We made that back around episode 40. I stream 9 times per week, game design in the evenings, artwork like this in the morning. So if you think this stuff is fun and cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. Here's a stack of books I've already created on the DMsGuild using my art and my ideas to help expand how the D&D 5e game engine works and how to have fun with D&D. So check that stuff out, and if you think any of it would improve your campaign, consider picking it up after you read the book. Book cover, we made this back around episode 40. Here's the full playlist of all 521 episodes to date so far of us making this adventure. And here's where we're at right now. This is a painting of the Atur Academy. We're using as a reference, shout out to Casa Stereo on Instagram. That's Casa Stereo 89. On Patreon, it's Patreon/Casa Stereo. This is a map to the city of Atur, but we're specifically interested in Atur Academy for our illustration. As far as I can tell, this is the only illustration of Atur Academy that exists. So we're going to use this as a reference point, and God bless you, Casa, for creating it. So we've got the skyline, the mountains, the lawn foliage, all resolved. Right now, we're specifically working on Atur Academy itself, making it a. You know what? Kind of has a square look to it, doesn't it? That's a revelation I wasn't excited to think about this morning. All right, let's see. Let's see what can be done here. Can we curve some swerve back into this? Because it's looking awfully square here in the illustration, doesn't it? We want a curve. Oh boy. How are we to do this, perhaps? That's actually a pretty good curve. Can we make this work out? Signs point to no. So it looks like we're gonna have to redo this bottom frame here. It's okay. You know what? I'd rather find out that I was wrong now than later. We can recover from this. Let's blend down. There. Let's blend that in. Yeah, we're just gonna have to paint over all that. Ah, well, it can't be helped. Better that we find it now before we start texturing stuff and get frustrated. So far, we've only lost a day or two of progress as a result of that. That was my fault for tunnel visioning in on the shape instead of paying attention to the reference image too much. So shit like that's gonna happen. Give me a second here. There. That's okay. It'll end up stronger as a result of it. So we're just gonna press on. I always make these horrible discoveries when I'm exhausted. as another reason for me to hate losing sleep. That's okay. We're gonna be fine. This will be fine. That down. Birth. It's looking a lot better already. This was the right decision. I have no concern at all for that. Sure, more time sad, but whatever. Let's do that. My hair is driving me crazy already today. When I don't cut the dead ends for a long time, it gets wispy. And then it likes to try to crawl up my nose. I already have hair in my nose. I don't need extra wispiness. Thank you. Let's blend that all up. Oh yeah, this is absolutely the right decision. Unfortunate, but absolutely necessary. So let's get the curve in here sculpted out, and then we'll do the next layer down and flatten it a bit with the selection tools, and then we'll be able to add the what little detail work we had done. We can redo. This should end up working. This should end up actually looking out just fine. Let's proof ourselves here real quick. Duplicate the layer, free transform, flip horizontal, scooch it on over. A little high on the brow. Let's bring that curve down a smidge. That feels better. I mean, since we're here, we may as well. Transform. Horizontal. We may as well get this all taken care of here so that we know what we're actually working with, right? That all lined up. Base. Let's see, how do we want to do it? Let's see. Let's go across like that, and let's go across like this. I'm going to merge these down. right back into it. Here. Hey, what's going on? Good morning, my guy. Buenos. Yeah, buenos dias. There's a lack of curve. It was getting too square, so I have to make a curve out of it. So it gets more roundish. So that's what we're currently doing. Ooh, that looks good. What a pain. There. Now let's go like this. Let's free transform. Let's bring this up so it curves more. Up, but it would save so much time. Can you select the whole thing and then just transform it into the curve? I could. But I just want to do it the way that I want to do it. Because I'm not sure how it's supposed to look, so this is helping me figure out what's the actual angle supposed to look like. So it actually serves a purpose. See, it's square. I made it square, and that's wrong. Hold on. Hold on, before we go and reinvent everything, it could just be an issue of the central tower being wrong. Let's investigate that idea here for a few moments. If I were to paint over that tower, if I were to curve this out, would it be appropriate? I can only do this by doing it. Let's find out where it's at. What's up? Fair. Excuse me. Obviously, it's time for a sip of coffee and water. Water 1, coffee 1, water 2. This is yeah, there's a lot of tools in Photoshop that make things go a lot faster. You are absolutely right. But if I do it manually like this, I'm punishing myself for having made a mistake in the first place. So I'm reinforcing with negative consequences that I did wrong and that I need to do better. So this is going to be a learning lesson for me to pay attention every time, every extra paint stroke that I need, brush stroke I need to do to get this piece finished now is a reminder that it could have been done faster if I had only properly constructed the tower first. I could make it a rounded square. I mean, I could technically take that freedom, but the reference I'm using, it has it being round. So I need to take that reference seriously. Number 2. I don't know what it needs to look like because I did it wrong in the first place. So going through this process helps me figure out where it actually needs to bend at. What is actually wrong with the piece. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I'm still doing it. I don't make a lot of progress every day. If I was done with the cartography off screen, I could be working on some of this stuff between our sessions to be able to progress more quickly, but I'm still working on other assets in the evening off camera. They're coming along. I've had to do a lot of page scooting around to make things work, but by God, it's working. So, oops, cannot hate. Here, let's drop down here like that. Like that's still got some curve to it, but the lower ones down here absolutely don't. So if I can mask over that. Hey, what's up? If I had to throw out my opinion, I'd say it's any all horizontal straight lines on a curved building are what make it look wrong, which is what you're. Yeah, exactly. I just built it square. I just got carried away and was smoothing things out too much and just ended up making things straight. And before you know it, I've got a circled square, a curved square. That was completely my fault. Just lost perspective, like literally. This is already fixing it. Once I get this retooling done, maybe I could use some select tools to fix it up. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Would the horizontal bars not be wider nearest you two? Yeah, they would. Absolutely, they would. That's part of the problem that we created, isn't it? Again, luckily I only have to do half of it. That's good. We'll figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. This is why I need to do more architecture, because I make mistakes like this. If I do more architecture artwork, I'll figure these things out. It's just like in chess. You're gonna keep falling for traps in chess until you can start until you see the pattern. But the only way for you to be able to see the pattern is to fail and get caught over and fucking over again. I'm not the kind of person that make a mistake once and I'll never make that mistake again. I wish I was that intelligent. I'm not. This is gonna be okay. That's already looking so much better. God, I got such shit sleep last night. Somebody set off the alarm, the fire alarm in our complex last night. At 2 o'clock in the morning. It took 40 minutes for the fire department to show up and turn it off. I'm like, could have slept in, but goddamn, if I had slept in, I might have missed this. So everything's happening the way it's supposed to. All right, so let's see. Next revelation. Oh boy. Well, this is going to absolutely strengthen the piece, but boy, what a pain in the ass. Who knows? Maybe I'll switch gears and work on this on Saturday. Tactically retreat from it so that I'm not boring everyone's time here on camera by rehashing the same thing. If I work on the same piece for too long, I think people get bored. This is working out. I'll probably have to end up destroying this tower and rebuilding it at a different angle over here. Absolutely necessary. Do you hear me trying to convince myself that I'm not wasting my time? Just gonna keep masking over that dome. I'll probably end up rebuilding that too. Probably have to. That's looking more appropriate. Hey, what's up? No, yeah, exactly. Hey, how are you doing, Fox? No, I'm not. It's just it sucks when Fox, just so you're up to date, my dome I made a square. So I fucked up. So I have to rebuild. Luckily I didn't get too far down the path of texturing and adding details, but my work from the past 2 days is 3 days is basically wasted at this point. Setback, but we'll get there. Finished the Strixhaven lists, ban list last night. Made some modifications to Opportunist. Also revised martial powers so that temporary mana that you generate floats over and stays with you until the beginning of your next turn the beginning of your next turn instead of the end of this turn. So if you're planning on doing reactions and stuff off of your turn, you can burn your action economy and just have a floating pool of mana to expend. And I think that's gonna help make more flexibility. If you want to be like on full defense, you'll have more opportunities to trigger reactions like that to protect yourself. So that's probably the biggest piece of tech change that we've made to the system in the past couple weeks. Oh yeah, this is gonna work out. I might have to redo the dome, but I'm liking the curve so far. So we have the ban list completed for Mage Tower for power for spells, which had the most bans, of course. Powers had a couple bans, and only one epic boon had to get banned. The one that allowed you to automatically hit once per round, like that means that you're automatically going to be hitting the goalpost, which means the goalie's irrelevant unless they can zero out your damage, and that's just that didn't feel like good gameplay. So the reason you have the ban list is to help make sure that the game is fun and balanced and fair on both sides of the team, for both teams. I'm probably going to have to flatten down that dome a little bit. Let's do this. Duplicate the grid. Here now we're going to perspective. Let's go with free transform. Oh, it's no. Let's try that again. Merge the group so I can use the warp tool on it. Free transform. Warp. Oh yeah. I don't care about the side towers and stuff. It's just this dome that I'm worried about. That's all I want. And I don't even need to worry about this side. I just need to worry about this side, the left-hand side, getting that side right. And that feels better. Let's go with free transform, perspective. Warp. cool again. Nope, that's off. This is going to take a little while for me to figure this one out, I think. Sup? Not gonna lie, that's satisfying to watch. Right on, man. We'll figure it out, though. We're gonna figure it out. Yeah, I get a massive dopamine rush every time I end up doing something correctly. It's a very slow burn, but incredibly satisfying. I've basically been training my nervous system to feed myself chemical satisfaction for dedicated patience. Very satisfying. I wouldn't call myself an error junkie, but I certainly derive satisfaction from correcting problems. And I feel clever for discovering them. What I don't want is to manufacture mistakes. That's a good curve. Where do we go from here, the radio asks. Great question. We're just going to keep going until we're done. This isn't my favorite song on Epidemic, but it seems to be the most timely. I usually normally end up hearing this song when I actually have that question. It's almost like I'm being queued up for it. I think I can. We're gonna rebuild the dome. We have to. We got this great rim here. This all turned out just, I didn't expect this morning. And normally it's when I get absolutely no sleep that when I look at the painting, I'm like, no, that's wrong. It's like I don't have enough energy to bullshit myself. So I just see the truth. It's like, son, the truth is that don't look right. You got to go back and fix it. It's like, It's so fateful. I love my life. It is such synchronicity. Yeah, I hear you. Thank you. I think there's some text going on. Give me a second here. Get through this curve, and I'll catch up with you guys. There. Yeah. I can relate. I like to think of myself as a problem solver, and then And there is no problem too great so long as I have the resources to solve. Absolutely, my man. Absolutely hate in our teachers for telling me about my work. But now I feel so stupid for not listening to them. Yeah, you know what? Here's my thoughts about pearls of wisdom that we're too swine to understand. That is, we aren't ready. Here's the thing. We kick ourselves. We hear advice. We're not ready for it. We can't accept it because it's not the state that we're in. We realize that advice was perfect and that it would have saved us so much time if we had only paid attention when we heard it the first time. But the thing is that we wouldn't have been able to capitalize it because we weren't in a state of mind to see that solution in the first place. And if we aren't receptive to just immediately accepting it as, oh, that's obvious truth, then that means that's not our obvious truth. That we had to go through the path, undulating snake through time, as Slaughterhouse 5 would say. The undulating snake through time eventually arrives at the conclusion that was given to us as wisdom so long ago that we didn't realize was truth, but we had to go through the journey to be able to understand that wisdom and to be able to accept it as our own and be able to take ownership of it. Being told that advice in advance is not us missing an opportunity. It is a foreshadow for the conclusion that we ourselves will come to when we have gained the proper perspective that we do not currently have. People show this stuff to us to say, hey, your perspective is off. In my case, literally. But your perspective is off and you need to correct. And until you're ready to correct, that doesn't mean anything. But you have to go through the journey of suffering for you to be able to appreciate the revelation that it is. And how do they come to that revelation? By going through the same process of discovery and pain themselves. If they don't go through a process of discovery and pain to arrive at that conclusion, it means that they're dealing with issues that are in a completely different sphere of influence than the revelation that they can make. But we all have to spend time on the wheel, you know? We all have to turn. More text ensues. What's up? I agree. I just find it weird as art and English were my two favorite passionate subjects, but I didn't question my English teachers. Yeah, interesting. But I think that would relate to ready for the input versus not ready for the input. Have to discover on your own versus have had enough. When you've had enough, you look for advice, and if it sounds good, you'll try it because you're fed up with where you're at. As they say, when the student is ready, the master appears. Until then, reality is just saying there's masters here waiting for you. It will be their greatest joy to share their wisdom with you when you are open to hearing it. Open invitation. And I think that's how life works. It is a constant invitation of discovery for you to move to the next evolution of whatever that's supposed to be. Whatever you're supposed to be evolving into, nature wants you to get there. That's a good looking curve there now you got going on there, Gurney. Let's go ahead and just block all that in. Second verse, total reverse. Yell Serp Stibney. Nope. My two favorite backward phrases is Elvis Presley, which is Yell Serp Stibney, and Moons Over Miami, which is Nope. But that's the only backwards I can speak. Oh yeah, we're just doing a complete rebuild here, aren't we? All right, well, embrace it. Embrace the build. We're just gonna end up disappearing this whole thing. Oh well, it is what it is. Well, we might be able to preserve a few bits of it, but no promises. Depending on how tall you want that building to be, you may be able to get a badass door on that with that perspective. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I'm letting my brain populate that shit. We're thinking about it. That forward-facing tower is going to be nice. Now we're using the proper perspective. I think it's going to be good. I mean, this was a necessary burn, a bridge that we had to burn. I'm going to keep saying that until I believe it because I'm sucking some serious copium right now. Absolutely just hoofing it down. I'm a good artist. I'm a good artist. Such good copium. Curve in there. Driving everyone at home crazy for over and then under, and then over undering, and then under overing. I might take a circle to this one. We might template this. This is pushing the perspective back a lot by having this radical a curve. I think this is going to help squash that perspective a little bit. Before, I think it was too forward facing, way too flat. I think this is going to add a lot of, going to help with some dramatic flair. Just about fed up. Hold on. There, curve that out. is absolutely looking better. Oh, yeah. Right fucking choice, Kearney. This day is blessed. I don't understand the blessings until they arrive, you know? And I can feel it arriving. Hey, what's up? I think this suits the whole painting better. Fuck yeah, it does. The mountains look bigger, and now literally looks like your building is higher up. Yeah, exactly. Same page, my dude. This is a serious glam up. Well done. Thank you, Muse. God bless for being in my life. Exhausting me when I need to be exhausted so that I can't fight the truth with logic. Just accept what needs to be. Take it back. Not bad. All right, so I'm at a point where I'm willing to, I'm going to use my circle tool now. Toolbar, circle. Yeah, that's right with. There. See, we found the shape that we wanted, and now we can come through with the tools to simplify the line. You know what? Since we're here, let's do this. We're going to add an extra layer. And I'm going to grab this color here. We'll grab this color here. We'll grab this color. There. We're going to drop a block in here like that. Because we'll be able to use this. We'll be able to use this shape. And like for instance, duplicate the layer here. Flip. We can do this. To create little wedges as we go to be able to get that curve correct. Be able to simplify things. But for now, fixed. Oh yeah. Symmetry. There, that's a good rebuild. Sup? Now you're thinking of 4D. Getting more difficult to sell the skull on top. Yeah. No. That skull's just gonna go away. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not even gonna worry about it anymore. We're just gonna lean into the dome of it. It's just not even worry about that. Yeah, okay, I see where you're at in here, buddy. Thank you. Let's merge these down. That. Same. Good. Free transform. And feels just about on point. Timely timer, keeping time. What time is it? 7:30. Okay, I got 20 more minutes. So that curve is on point now. Just gonna do a gentle. And again, I don't have to worry about being fully. I can just work on half of this. Like I can work on this half to get it right, and then I'll be able to flip perspective, and it'll look right. What's up? Thank you. Yeah. Again, I wanted to make sure that we had to do it manually. So we knew that the aesthetics that we wanted were correct, and then we go back through with the tool and make sure it's right. You see? So I listened to what you had to say. I just had to get there, using my own process. But absolutely, I want to make use of the tools in an intelligent way to make sure it's right. All right, I'm starting to like the lighting here. Let's go with this one. There. And defected we trust. Nah, of course you aren't. Of course you're not hating. I can feel that. Never a doubt. We're all just figuring shit out together. I just get to show my ass on screen every morning, you know? Like, here's my failures. Enjoy. But this is exactly the point I was trying to make. Is that so many artists see these quick, like 60 times faster productions of art, and they don't even see the undos, redos. Like, it flickers by in like an instant. You miss it. So you just end up with zero to hero in 20-minute diatribes when it was actually 20 hours that they spent on producing the fucking thing. You don't with that sped up process. You hear the punchy wisdom and the topic of conversation that they want to launch, but they'll blur through this piece of art that they're making in the process, and in the end, you don't gain any wisdom from that, other than maybe their words are wisdom. But again, I think the real wisdom of doing this is to demonstrate to artists that this is a meticulous suffering process. When you want to get good at art, you're signing up for being frustrated the bulk of your time. And that you have to build a reward system inside of yourself that will reward painstaking dedication to perfection in a task. That there's no quick fix. There's no like the dopamine drip that I get through this is line by line. There is no quick fix that I get from this process. It's all just screaming to get out of my body. And until I hit that mark, it's like that's when the relief finally gets. That's when the surge happens. That's when I get that surge of satisfaction of job well done. And then as that cools through my system, it motivates me to keep pushing on because I want that next spike. So I train myself to only get that spike when I succeed at a task. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, so when we build in the ribs here, we already have this in place, which is the right size, so we can bring in mark. But it'll actually have to be like this, right? So we're gonna have to figure out that scaling. I'm not gonna do that right now. I might actually do that off screen because I could end up spending an hour or two just getting that angling right. And I don't know. Let's take this and push it up a little bit higher so that we have that lip here over the edge of the dome. So that's going to be easier for us to now add in the towers. Let's duplicate this layer. Now we have this band as a guiding line. Oops. Not bad. What's up? I can see the specular highlights now, and they're going to be fantastic. Since they feel something more. It's if painting is an analogy for being alive, and God bless it is. It is a process of discovery. We are here to learn. How do I want to do this? Duplicate. See, that band is too short now. I have to keep this dropping in. I don't want to. I like that this foliage is here blocking line of sight, because that really makes this curving a lot easier to do. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. We could increase the size of these. I kind of like that. You see how that's looking over here now with that broken perspective like that? I'm thinking something like this. Let's just grab a bright color, just the bright one, so it's easy. Let's try that again. Thinking something kind of like that. If I build a tower and I add in that curve like that, that just implies so much information about the structure. It's kind of cheating. I love that. It helps by creating that contrast there. It helps create that banding effect. That feels like something you would actually. Well, Fox is an architect. This feels like something that would actually be on a dome structure, as like a supporting strut. Like having the curve and then curving in smaller and then broadening out as a wider base to then curve out from there. I think that's probably legit. That feels natural. What's up? Well, hey, Nicholas, what's going on? Hey, guys, just found the stream on my homepage. What's happening? I am a D&D enthusiast. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and then I publish them. This is an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting. I don't know if you're a D&D guy or not, Nicholas, but that's kind of what we do here. So what we're looking at specifically here is the adventure that I'm building. It's on a 16:9 format. I'm going to drop this in. This is not the proper scale, of course. But where'd my... Why'd that happen? Hold on. There. So it's a 16:9 format. So with the adventure, this is an adventure that we're creating. And when it's done, if you're full screen on your display, you'll see that this fits the 16:9 format. And then each individual column is also a 16:9 format, vertically aligned. So what we do is we come up with an idea in D&D. We then play test it to see if it works. If it does, then we build the book out, like do all the writing. Kick it off to an editor. They clean it up, make it word good, kick it back to us. We then do the page layouts. And once the page layout is done, we have all these gaps on the pages that we then drop illustrations into. And once all those things are, once we go through that entire process, we publish the book on, well, for 5th edition, we publish on DMsGuild. So if you go down here, there is a ton of books that I've already created on the DMsGuild. I've only just, the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book here. We did all the artwork and some of the page layouts and like all the framing. We did that here on screen. Point Warlocks, Pacts, and Patrons. We did a lot of the artwork for these two books online as well in the past couple of years. And now we're actually going through and like literally writing the book and designing it on screen. And most of the people that are my playtesters were people that jumped into the channel like this and just stuck around and had ideas and joined my Discord server, which is linked down below, and started volunteering. Was like, hey, I want to do it. I want to build this thing. I want to like Bastion Campaigns is the next book that we're going to do artwork for. So we spent a few months here on stream developing Dungeons and Dragons Bastion campaign for Dominion style of command and play, and so we'll then. I've been playtesting the Bastion system with my home table for the past basically 6, 7, 8 months, something like that at this point, and it's been refined into the document that we built here on screen. And so once I'm done with this book, we'll be moving into publishing that so that we have a Dominion style system using ability checks in D&D to be able to sculpt and create plot hooks based on what you try to do with your settlement or your guild and the conflicts that arise as a result of your efforts. Sculpt the next plot hook so you can run an episodic campaign on a week-by-week basis based on what am I trying to do with my guild this week and what problems do I want to cross. That becomes our next adventure. So like that's like one example. So what's up? The Skipper, loving it. Loving the lead speak there, my guy. So it's pretty cool. Thanks a lot, man. Pretty cool. As a new DM, I'm happy. Right on. We'll stick around. We in the mornings like this, when I'm doing artwork, the less I think about what the artwork is, the better off it ends up being. Honestly, I let the muse take over and just let her run. So I like it in the morning when people ask me questions about shit because it gives me something to ramble about. I've been a DM for 37 years. I've been a freelance illustrator for about 25. So I've certainly got a lot of opinions. But like in the evenings when we do game design, I do game design on Mondays and Thursday nights and then Tuesday and Friday lunches. So I'll be back on like at 2:30 Seattle time. In about 6.5 hours, I'll be back on. We're going to be building athletes for Strixhaven Mage Tower, using the mechanics that we've been developing over the past year. So we're at a point now that we can actually build athletes using the color mana system for Strixhaven characters, and I'm looking forward to playtesting that. So we do game, but I don't have as much time to just talk because I'm on an agenda, like I'm designing. So most of my brain power is going towards like figuring out what this mechanic is supposed to be. And although I can receive some feedback from the audience, it's this now doing this artwork like this is when I can really just dive off the deep end of conversation about whatever the fuck it is that's going on. So the hope is that as my channel continues to grow, more I'll be able to use this art time as an opportunity just to connect with people and answer questions about like how to DM and crap like that. This perspective is off. So a curve into there, that feels a lot better. But I'm here typically from like 6:30 till 8 o'clock. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get started at near 6 o'clock. So basically like 90 to 120 minutes every morning. Monday through Friday, I do artwork like this. I've been painting for so long at this point that I can literally just trust my body just to do what it needs to do. So I don't have to really think about it unless I'm running across something I'm not like ridiculously familiar with, and then time slows down, or rather it speeds up and forces me to pay attention to it. But I also get on a tear and sometimes don't pay attention to what's going on in chat. So what's going on? Love D&D. Hell yeah, dude. I love D&D, but I'd much rather talk about the art. Not that I can't converse in D&D, which is completely fine. I need to do some more DMing. It's been a minute. I miss it, honestly, now that I think about it. Yeah, you're thinking about it, and now you miss it. I play in a Curse of Strahd campaign just so I can appreciate being a forever DM. Whenever I'm playing a character, it's like 3 or 4 sessions in, and I get real itchy. But you know, I mean, D&D has a lot of mechanical and design concepts and stuff that go into it, and like balancing and things like that. But most of the ideas that go into running a good game ends up spilling into conversations about artwork as well. So I'll bounce back and forth between the two, depending on what's going on. The irony is when I run a game of D&D, I just use dots and lines and circles. I don't do any kind of map detail like at all. Unless I'm playtesting. If I'm doing playtesting stuff, that's a lot more structured. So like I actually like build dungeon maps and stuff like that for people to run around inside of. And of course, if I'm publishing an adventure, we'll be using the actual mapping content for the adventure. That also just makes sense, right? But like when I'm just running my home table and we're just running on a week-to-week basis, it's theater of the mind, it's stick figures and dots, like the minimum effort to be able to get the visual point across. Because when I play D&D, when I run a game of D&D, it's like 90% improvised. So if I have a nugget of an idea that I'm leading the team into, the last thing I want to do is tip my hand for them to be able to recognize, oh, Phil's just making shit up right now. So the easiest way to tell when Phil's making up shit is, am I using a prefabricated map, or am I drawing sticks and dots? Because if I'm drawing sticks and dots, I'm probably making shit up, right? As opposed to like switching, like if I'm not using a Zabuku map, and it's gorgeous and it's animated, and then you take a 5-foot step off the map and now I'm just doodling again. So my own personal philosophy as a DM is as low effort in your assets as possible, so that the team never knows when you're improvising versus planned content. That to me, that helps prevent what's the word? It makes it easier for them to retain suspension of disbelief. Because there's no clue, like there's no cue for them at any time Phil's making shit up versus this is something that Phil's been planning for weeks. It looks the same. And if you get good at improvising, it means you get good at bullshitting. And once you get good enough at it, your team is along for the ride, and they'll end up trusting you. That it's like, yeah, Phil's bullshitting us right now. I can smell it, but fuck, it's fun. So let's just go for it. You know, that's the angle that I want to approach. I feel like my computer froze. Hold on. Yeah, it's saving. Good. Hey, and nothing wrong with that. If you want to do official, I'd suggest trying out one of these starter packs. Hey, what's up? What campaigns have? Oh wait, I'm missing text here. That's an example of me getting lost in the sauce. Holy shit, that's a lot of minis, my dude. Yeah, I've recently started a campaign and getting the ropes of it. Nice, that's fantastic. It's only my second campaign in DMing, so very interested. I love building the world and stuff. Definitely my favorite. Fuck yeah, dude. Drawn out tile sets, all that shit. Yeah. Yeah, homebrew's great, man. Let's see. If you want to do official, I suggest trying out one of the starter packs. If you're playing 5e anyways, I don't know anything newer than that. It's 7:52, so I'm going to be bouncing out of here in a few minutes. Right now, we're just running a victory lap, basically. This looks good. So we have one tier here. We have the banding, the broadening band, and then underneath that we have two. We have this tower established. We're just going to use flip symmetry to duplicate this over here. So I only have to focus on this half of the piece here. Oh, I've still got my masking layer on. Bam. There's all the shits. So we'll be able to resize this. Like, obviously that frame was working well, so I'm really happy with that. So we'll be able to just drop down the size of it to fit inside the blank space that we have. We're dramatically overshooting the size of the piece intentionally, so it's easy for us to reduce size. But this is this is coming along really nicely. I'm pretty fucking happy with this. Let's grab this. Where am I? Oh, I'm in my masking layer. Let's go here. So I'm going to be back today at 2:30. That's 6.5 hours from about now to continue with the Martial Powers project, developing the Strixhaven Mage Tower sport as a PvP combat scenario. Instead of people fighting in an arena killing each other with fictitious, with like level 20 characters, instead you can play a match of rugby, D&D style. And use that instead of killing each other. You try to score points, so you can have those characters create a grudge, like an in-world grudge with each other. But I'll be building. The plan is once our mega dungeon is done around level 10 or 11, we'll transition into playing matches of Mage Tower to see if that's fun. But that would be from like level 11, 12, 13 up to 20. So it'd be a series of Mage Tower games for us to lock down the rules to make sure that they're both consistent for use in a sport, as well as the 5e game engine to make sure that it works both narratively and mechanically in 5e combat. And then from there we'll be able to publish that as a piece. It's the whole reason for the Martial Powers project in the first place, is to create a martial-based spellcasting system that they would use with mana instead of spellcasting. Because a barbarian can't cast spells while they're raging, but they can channel a bunch of red mana into blowing shit up because they're pissed. For instance. Yeah, let's do that. And then here. Like that. And again, we'll just use flip symmetry. So I only have to worry about half of it. I'm not gonna make full characters like character sheets and shit like that. It's I'm just gonna basically pick a race, class, subclass, and then start kitting out either its prepared spells or powers. And then we'll probably flesh out a full character sheet when we get there. I'm just going to do ideation today, just throwing together ideas, like looking for combos that are good. Like, this is a striker, this is a goalie, this is a forward. What kind of different powers and spells would those different roles on the playing field want to have to be able to help achieve their goal of scoring points against enemies? And I don't know what the strategies are yet. That's what the playtesting is going to be for. To see if we can start creating creating a meta inside of this theoretical game that we're building. It should be fun. Hopefully it'll be fun. But the Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos, it's an ability check. It's like a skill challenge. Whether you win the match or not is whether your accumulated score that you roll on your ability checks. If everyone rolls a die and then you add them all up, and if your number is higher than what the DM rolled for all its athletes, you win the match. So you can like literally win it with one die roll, between everybody. But if we make it a PvP combat style encounter, then we're creating a whole new mode of having combat pillar of adventure in your game through sports, while further reinforcing the use of color mana in the Strixhaven setting, which is a Magic the Gathering setting. So color mana, using color mana spell points, it just helps reinforce those mechanics as in world as a ludo narrative inside of the game world of a Magic the Gathering world, using Magic the Gathering mana with both marshals and spellcasters competing in the Magic the Gathering Strixhaven Mage Tower sport. And of course, we already worked on the Strixhaven Renown system, college credits, and integrated the Bastion system into Strixhaven. So all that stuff is what we've been doing for the past couple months, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. But that's one of the things that we've been working on. So that's starting to coalesce into actually being able to playtest that stuff. So that's really coming along. I need to make this a little bit bigger, and then I'm like really out of time. Let's make this bigger. Blah 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 bigger. All right, I'm out of time. It's 7:59. My timer just popped in my head. It's time for me to get out. This is good progress. I'm really proud of where we ended up at today, guys. This is really great. So we're going to keep working on this. I'll be back tomorrow morning to work on this. I'm going to be back in 6.5 hours to work on the Strixhaven characters, the athletes for Mage Tower. If this stuff is cool to you and you want to catch more of this shit in the future, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, check out my books. They all have massive free previews, so you can get a feel for the kind of artwork that I make that we're getting into, the kind of design ideas that I have that I love to use. All this stuff that I publish down below is stuff that I actually like to use in my own games. As a DM, I create player options that I want my players to choose so that their characters are reflecting the kind of campaigns that I want to run as a DM. So all that shit down there is like, this is all stuff that I want to build campaigns and run on my Discord, and people are invited to participate in that stuff if they join. So, oh, wait, I'll keep that in mind. Campaign, glad I found it. Hey, right on, man. I'm glad you're around. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, this is really coming along. Yeah, no cope needed. Hell yeah, Defected. Appreciate you, my man. Really appreciate it. All right, I'll catch up with you guys in the future. Sorry I missed some of the conversation, but, you know, we're working the thing. Just I'll find you guys in the future when you're chatting at me. So I'll see you guys in the future, man. Thanks a lot. Cheers.